Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Glady from Glady's Creations, and today we are going to do another collaboration with the Calendar Girls. Okay, and the theme today is apples. And yes, that's exactly it. Apples. I've been decorating for fall with apples for a while now. Now, the collaboration is called Calendar Girls, okay, and the host is Tiffany from Simply Blessed, and Yetta from Craft Along with Jay, and special guest host is Michelle from the Southern Shell. And today we are going to be collaborating using calendars to do our DIYs. So let's get on with the project and I'll let you know more about what's going on. Here I have this land calendar and they're amazing. Their calendars are beautiful. And I'm going to be using the one from September 25th. Now, I print out my images because I do not want to damage my calendar. Plus, the calendar is really thick. It's like a vinyl kind of feeling, and it's not good to craft with that because it's so thick. Here, I ordered some apples from wood pieces from Amazon, okay? And I expected to only get like 3 pieces. I didn't realize that it came with 12 apples. So I'll be doing some other DIYs later on this week using them apples, okay? But for now, we're using this one, and I outlined and did the leaf part with my pencil so I could separate it from the rest of the apple. And I'm going to prime the whole thing in white, okay, leaving that outline so I don't paint over it when I paint the apple part, the body part, okay. And I showed you the picture that I'm going to be using from the calendar that I printed out. Right now I'm painting this all in white, and I'm showing you excuse me, I'm sorry. My allergies are really bad today. But I'm showing you the direction of how I'm painting this, because this is really important when you're painting. If you want to view the direction of how your image is going to look, you want to paint it the direction that you want it to be seen, okay. And you seen how I did it with a curve kind of, and that's why I left that in. Okay. And here I show you how I rip my pictures. If you see, you'll see some white pieces on it, and the reason why I showed you is I do it in a downward motion so you don't see that white stuff, okay. Now here I'm putting a heavy coat of Mod Podge all in the center lines. You see how I marked the lines with my pencil? Because I don't want to get Mod Podge all over the apple, okay. So I do that, and then I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna put my picture on there. Put parchment paper, okay, and not wax paper, parchment paper, okay. You make sure excuse me, that it is parchment paper, okay. And I iron it on, and I'm sorry about that hiccup, excuse me about that. And there I make sure that all my edges are ironed on really well, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to go around the edges with my fan brush, make sure everything's tucked in, and paint over a little bit with Mod Podge on the edges, okay, not on the actual picture, just the edges, because everything ironed on really nice. Then once that's dried, I'm going to take my hand sander And I sit there and I sand all the edges off. And I'm sorry I'm off the camera, but I come right back, you see. And this is a little bit hard because I, for 2 days, prepped this picture. What I did was I printed it out, let it dry 24 hours, and then I sprayed it with two-time Rust-Oleum clear coat, and it gives it like a leathery kind of feeling texture on it. Okay, and that's why I do that. Now here with the makeup brush, I dab all around the edges with the paint that I prepared, and that is um, crimson red from Waverly and true burgundy from Folk Art. I mixed it together to give me this like kind of like brick red, apple red kind of color. Okay, and I blend in with that brush. Then I changed to a flat squared brush, and you notice there you see me painting the direction that the apple flows. Okay, because that's what you want to see. Okay, because with brush strokes that's really important. Okay, and I paint the whole thing, and I show you me do just this one coat, but I actually do two coats. Okay, because I want complete coverage of that white, and I take it all the way to the edge and paint the edges in red too. Okay, and then I take my nutmeg brown, and I take a stencil brush and I dry brush a little bit, wipe away with my finger to smooth that out a little bit. And then I take buttermilk with another stencil brush and I dry brush all around my apple, and I dab a little bit too. Then I take and put water in my buttermilk and take a fan brush and put little speckles everywhere. And then I do the same thing with the brown, the nutmeg brown. Okay, then I take those two green paints that I show you, and I'm going to do what they call a one-stroke painting. You see how I used one corner of a triangle on my brush is the dark green, and then the lighter green on the other corner. And I blend the pictures in, going section by section in the shape of the leaf. And then I blend the paints together to give it texture. Then I take the nutmeg brown and I faintly blend the colors in. Now you see it, and now you don't. Okay, and then I take the green brush and brush over it dryly, and it's just so you just see like a shadow of the veins. Okay, and that is done. Now I'm sorry, you'll see it better in the final reveal. I did add a rag bowl to that with a heart. Okay, now here, second project, we're taking the mini apples that I ordered and two pictures that I printed out of my grandkids. Okay, and I cut it out. I usually rip, but instead with these I cut them out because I wanted them to fit perfectly on here, and I'll blend it in too. Um, and you'll see that in a few. You see me tracing out the part that's going to be decoupaged on there, and I put pretty much Mod Podge on there, and then I add my I'll let it dry, and then I'll iron on the pictures, and you'll see that here in a few minutes after I'm done here. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, my allergies are acting up today. All right, if so here, this is Nori. This is my granddaughter. And that's her picture. And I'm ironing on her picture. And then this is Apollo. That's my grandson. And these are my son's children. Okay, and I'm ironing that on. And Apollo's picture gets stuck. And then I have like residue on it. And I try to wipe it off. It doesn't come off. And you'll see me trying to clear it off with water. And it works. I take the makeup brush that I used before for the other apple. But before I do that, I sand the edges of the picture. And like I said, I prepped these pictures like 2 days ago. So they're really, really, really thick. They're like leathery, like, okay. So there, I steeple brush with the makeup brush and blend all the picture even on the bottom. And I do it with Apollo's also. And then I change to the paintbrush again and I paint in the rest of the picture. And she's so beautiful. She looks like a model, that little girl. And there I take Apollo's picture. He's funny. He is so smart. He is so witty. He knows so much. And I love talking to him. I love holding conversations with him. All right, and here I paint these twice. I only show you me painting them once, but I do paint them twice. Okay. Then I'm doing the same thing again with I did the other apple. I do it here for the leaves. I do the green for both, and then I go in with the nutmeg brown. And I do the same there. And blend in the green. So the nutmeg brown is faint. Okay. Then I take burnt umber and I don't fully cover it because I want to give it texture look to the stem. Okay. Then I take the nutmeg brown and do a little bit of dry brushing on the top and on the bottom. Then I take the same thing with the buttermilk. I take the stencil brush and dab around and dry brush the both of them. Then I bring out the square that I got from Dollar Tree and that was already primed with white. And now I'm going with cashew and painting the whole thing. Now you're going to see a little bit of the white coming through, but that's because I am looking for like a wood effect on here. So you'll see like little streaks of white in it. Then I take the nutmeg brown and I dry brush it all across to give it that wood panel look. I do the edges really good. Then I take these pieces that I got from the calendar also. They're like little clippings of the scene from the picture that I used from the calendar, and I put them in each corner, and they're all like little apple parts, little apple seams, and you'll see why in a few why I use these pictures. And this one I like because it had the little birdie. I love birds, just like I love cows. I love cows and birds. They're my favorite animals. Okay, and then I put them down. And now I'm going to do that one, that corner. This was so fun to do, and I love this one. I don't like the finish that I use, the hook, the hanging hook, the style. I had a lot of problems with that, and I had to cut that part of the video at the end, and you'll see that. And I'm thinking of changing it, and I'm going to be adding to this, to both of these. I'm going to be adding stuff to it, because my theme that I'm using for fall is apples. So I'm really glad that this was all apple themed. Okay, now here I attach the two pictures of my grandkids, and I use the type on quick and thick and then hot glue gun, and I press them and put them in a tilted way, okay, because I'm trying to make this picture fun. Okay, so I glue them down like that, and I wanted to draw eyes to this, but I was kind of pressed for time. All right, so then I take my pencil and I'm gonna write you are the apple and I erase it because the L and the P weren't lining up, and then of my eye. So my eyes, okay, and I put you are the apple of my eyes. And that is an old little quote, and I love it. Love it. So I wanted the letters to look fun, so I used that dotted font, okay? And I do this in burnt umber, okay? And put the dots in and do, paint over where I wrote in pencil. Now watch how fun I make this. I wish I could have showed you this in slow motion so you could have seen. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Alright, there we go. Do the apple. And the up. I just wanted you to watch me how I do the painting. And I'm using a detailed thin brush. Okay. It's easy when you write. I always say write your letters first and pencil. That way you could erase them, edit them to how you want them. Okay. And then after I do that, I take the paintbrush and I dip it in the white, the end part, and then wherever there's dots, the circles, I dot it with a little bit of white. And then I turn my brush around and I make little squiggly lines to the left of every letter. I put little red squiggly lines to give it detail and make it fun. And then I take and I paint on a couple little hearts with the red. And then I take my paintbrush like I did with the dots. I dot a little white dot and every little heart on the left side. Now here's what I was telling you. Oh, first I splatter with the burnt umber and the white. Is it white that I use? Yeah, white. Okay, and I wiped the picture because I get some on the picture. Now here's where I was telling you I was having problems. I cut it right about here, okay, and then I don't even get to show you what I did, but you'll see it in the final reveal, okay. It was off camera and I had a lot of problems. Okay, here's the final reveal, and there goes the apple, and you see the bow I did, and there's what I did with the hanging thing on it. And here's a little short clip. Now check out the playlist. There's a lot of talented creators on here. There I collab with them every month, and they're wonderful. And I love my Tiffany. My Tiffany is my Tiffany. I love her so much. She is amazing. She's a great person too. Go ahead and check out the playlist down below. I want to say thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, share, and comment. Okay, and also subscribe. I am in need of some subscribers, so because I'm still not being paid for doing these. So, and with that being said, down in the description I have my Cashapp, and also buy me a coffee. It's not required, but if you would like to help with donations, it will be greatly appreciated. It helps me bring out more things to be able to show you to craft, and it's a very great help. I also have my email there, that if you want to send me stuff, challenge me with something, you can email me, and we'll talk about where you can send them to. Okay, so thank you for watching. Okay, and I love you guys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So don't forget, like, share, and comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, and hope to see you again soon. All right, bye bye.